there. What's up, everybody? I hope everybody's having a good day. It's been just a minute, right? Just about four months. So listen, I want to welcome everybody back. Kind of a different setting here where I get to see some of y'all's faces that have your videos on. So I definitely appreciate it. Wow. So I wanted to allow some people to come in here. As you can see, I think we have 50 people here right now. I'm sure there's more that are going to jump in, but I really appreciate you taking the time, especially in the middle of the day. I'm going to make sure and record this. So let me go ahead and start recording this. Oh, I've got it recorded. Okay. I know a lot of people can't make it, at this time. So we're definitely going to record it. I'm going to be updating everybody on exactly what's going on. But I kind of like to start with, where we've been. Ironically, believe it or not, tomorrow is GCN's 1 year anniversary, if you can believe that. Now, what a rocky road of a year it's been to some extent. I mean, some of it, obviously from our side, some of it from the COVID side, it's just been insane. So what I want to do here today is I want to come out and just kind of address you on what's going on. It's kind of crazy if you think about it, to even get 52 people out here. I think when most people probably thought we were dead is a big deal. I see someone in there holding their check. That's awesome. Oh, Paul's holding this check. That's cool. Here's the thing, and this is the truth. In my career, as far as having a community of people that I got along with, that was just fun as far as the live events were concerned, that could see the big picture of what we were doing. This has been the best of the best, and that's the truth. And I really appreciate those of you who have reached out to me so many times over the last 4 months to see what's going on, and had some faith. For you to be here today, that shows a little bit of faith. I mean, and here's the deal. I know some of you are really discouraged. I know some people are mad. Some people are frustrated. And the truth is that, some of what has happened inside of the business obviously came from us before the COVID even got here. But when the pandemic got here, it was March 13th, believe it or not. That's my anniversary to my wife as well. That's like when everything shut down. And since that date, it's been kind of chaotic, trying to figure out what direction we're going to go, thinking that, what might be a couple weeks is now turned into 4 months. And I don't know if you guys have been watching, Major League Baseball. Really thankful to have that back. I just asked the handicapper here if he can kind of give me an update of where we're at for the week. I think we're right around 60% or something like that. So, I think that's pretty good for coming back as to where we're at. But, the goal here is to just kind of tell you on where we're at, but most importantly, where we're going. But I think it would be silly for me to get everybody out here and not talk about what has happened over the last 4 months, trying to figure out what we're going to do. Talk just a little bit about me personally as well, because I know there's obviously a lot of information out there on other stuff I'm doing. So you know me, I want to be as transparent as I possibly can. I want to throw it out there to you guys and just let you receive it, and then talk about where we're going. So like I said, last 4 months have been challenging, obviously, for all of us. There's not a single person that I reached out to that I didn't say, hey, I hope you're able to find something else for you and your family during this time, because who knows how long it's going to take, right? Where I think that some people might have thought I've been the opposite, like, hey, you got to stick with this. Well, I mean, there was nothing going on, right? And that includes my family as well. So, I released an email, I guess a few weeks ago, or maybe a month ago, saying, hey, I was going to be doing some consulting, helping out with some other stuff. I'm sure some of you guys have seen that I've been helping with a smart contract on Ethereum. So that's no secret. I put that out to you guys, originally, so you would know, because I knew it was going to get out there, and I knew that it would be good. It's a good thing. It doesn't compete with GCN. I mean, it competes with my time sometime, but GCN is still obviously a baby of mine. I mean, I still love it. And I think if I was to poll everybody, I think we would all agree as far as the concept of GCN, having the sports, having the entertainment behind it with the auctions and things like that. It's a fun company. There was a lot of excitement into it, and it didn't hurt that our handicappers were absolutely crushing it, right? I mean, we were doing phenomenal things with that. And I know that especially towards the end there, we had some comp plan changes. We had some things that were moved around that, I think the perception was probably like, hey, these guys are trying to take advantage of it. So they're trying to do this. What we were trying to do, and I think I was pretty clear, is like, we were trying to make sure that we could last long term, right? And that was the most important thing to me, is make sure that we could create a place that would last. Now, it didn't help that right as we were getting in the thick of it, that that COVID came, shut us down, and here we are today trying to figure this thing out, right? As far as where we go from here. Now, obviously, it's great that Major League Baseball came back. I don't know if you guys saw yesterday. There was an outbreak, where they had to shut one of the games down. I don't know what that means for Major League Baseball going forward. I know NBA is obviously starting on not tomorrow, but the next day, I believe, which will be huge. And then we've got hockey starting next week as well. So what is really unique about this situation is that even though we missed 4 months of sports, we're going to be in a situation going into a summer that we've never been in. Okay. So we're going to have baseball, basketball, hockey, and then the NFL is going to come as well, assuming that, all these sports get to continue, assuming that there's not an outbreak. I can tell you, like, where I'm located, I'm in Alabama, as most of y'all know. And I mean, it's really tough down here. I don't know. In the beginning, it was a bubble. We didn't have anyone here that had it. I'm talking like in literally my town, we didn't have any COVID cases at all. And now it's just like skyrocketed because of all the tourists that's come in, the beaches being open. So we all have our own stories. I've made this comment to my wife multiple times. I'm like, man, someone's going to make a really good movie on how this affected so many people. And I like to think that maybe the handicappers and some of those people that lost their job and their income will be part of that as well. We all know that casinos got hammered. I mean, like everything in this realm got almost destroyed, right? So here we are in a place where we're in a brand new position as a company that we can really decide on what we want to do, where we want to go. But before we even decide where we want to go, we do have to take care of some of the things that were in our past. So that's what I want to talk about right now, is just like, where we left off, and then we're going to talk about where we're going. And then I'm going to open this thing up for Q&A. Okay. I mean, if you guys have questions, I'll definitely address those at the end. But when we left things off, we were very clear. We had some games of the week that have not been paid out. There were also some auction items that have not been sent as well, right? And during this process, the whole idea was obviously to create some funding, right? To make sure that we had funding to take care of those, to make sure that we were completely safe as far as that was concerned. Well, some of that funding was obviously, put on hold. If you don't have a business in play, it doesn't matter who you're dealing with, they're not going to fund you. That's the deal. I mean, when it got to the point to get things completely 100% squared away, it was like, well, let's wait to see what happens with these sports things. I mean, that's your main business. Let's wait. And now here we are 4 months later, and sports are just coming back. So the good news about the GOWs and the auction items is we will be knocking those out starting this week. Okay. And we're going to be doing them basically in order. So if you have an auction out there, we'll be sending those auction items out. If you've won a GOW, we'll begin to pay those things out as well. So, you still have our full commitment on doing that. It will take a little bit of time to get everything 100% completed, but the process is going to start. And that's the most important thing. That what I would ask for you is just a little bit of patience. I know you're sitting there thinking, my God, we gave you 4 months. How much more patience do you need? But keep something in mind. It's not like it's been 4 months of us just, making sales and rocking it, and we just haven't done anything, right? We're in a situation that, we've had to create some of this capital on our own to make sure that we can protect it and move it forward. So with that being said, the GOWs and the auction items will begin to go out this week. So I think that's really important. I know a lot of you on here, that's what you wanted to know, right? Are they actually going to come through with that? And the answer is yes. Okay, that's number one. Number two, where do we go from here? I mean, like, what is the big picture of where we're going? I know some of the comp plan things that we changed, going into right before all this happened, some of those situations, everyone has their own view on it, right? Some of you think like, we did it to take advantage of people. Some of you are like, hey, the little guy can't earn here. There's so many different things that are out there. And as you guys know, I mean, I usually am pretty open to listening to almost anything that anyone has to say and then evaluating it to see what direction is the best to go. So from our side of it, what I'm doing right now is we're really taking a look at where things are at. I don't really want to have a company that is seen as, number one, a little guy can't perform at or can't be at, right? I mean, I've always been about the masses. I mean, my first company, for goodness sakes, was Little Guy Network, right? So I am about that. I'm about making sure that people have an opportunity here. So to hear that, like, the masses of our company kind of feel like they got the shaft on some stuff, we're reevaluating some of those things, okay, to figure out what we can do to make sure that people can participate here, still have a good time. On the flip side of it, I've said this many times, to have a company to assume that you can sit and not do anything and earn, those companies just don't last long term, right? I mean, they can last for 6 months or they can last for 8 months, but they do eventually go away. And not just because they run out of money, they also usually run into some major legal issues, right? So there's always a fine line that we have to walk as a company to make sure that we're doing the right thing. And, when you add the sports into ours, when you add the auctions into ours, you have Bitcoin in ours, and you have network marketing, you have a really risky situation, right? That you have to be able to manage properly and move forward. So with that being said, if you guys remember, I mean, when we very first started this thing, sports trading BTC, back in, well, one day, excuse me, one day from being a year ago, it was built around the premise that, we wanted to attract as many people as we could and do it right. I constantly said that we wanted to do it right. I stood behind it. I didn't hide behind it. I stood in front of it, and we created this amazing thing, what I consider almost a family. And I want to be able to get that back. And I know that that's going to be hard, right? I mean, it's going to be a hard fight for me. It's going to be a hard fight to attract people back to this that maybe were here. But I also know that I've had a bunch of people that reach out to me and say, James, this thing's going to be so much bigger than what it was, because, you're one of the very only ones out there still, number one. And number two, people love what we have going on. So in order to make the magic happen in this business, in my opinion, not only do you have to have a great product, a great service, great communication, all those things that we strive to have, but you also do have to have a comp side of it that is attractive to the masses. Okay. So I'm not insinuating at all that we're going to be making any huge changes or anything like that. What I'm going to tell you is right now we're really evaluating the current model for people that are already inside of the business. Okay. And going forward and making sure that we can have the best platform possible, that people can be proud of and can be able to move. I'm an entrepreneur just like every single one of you are. And I know that all of you have been doing other stuff. I know that you got other projects going on right now. My goal would just be to get a little bit of your attention back here as we start to build into this, because I think we have a real opportunity to really build this thing. That's just my belief. I think that there's a lot of opportunity there in this sports arena, assuming that sports can continue. I think the auction side of it, we didn't, even though we had some great auctions, I don't feel like we took that business to the level that it could have been at, because it wasn't functioning exactly the way that we wanted. So there's some things there that obviously can be drastically improved. I talked about early on introducing the travel side of this as an entertainment product. Obviously travel, I mean, has been absolutely crushed, but I've been in that industry for a long time. That's a huge opportunity. But my deal is this, with everything I just said, it's a conversation because it's words, right? The only thing that can prove where we want to go is the actions that we're going to take. And what I wanted to do here today is I wanted to bring us back out here. I wanted you to be able to see my face again, understand that, hey, I'm here. We're not going anywhere. It's been a rocky road, but we've got such a great project here that we want to move forward on. And we need you, right? I'm coming to ask you again to come back and have some faith in what we have going on. Obviously, there's still some things that we have to announce and work out. And we're going to be doing that over the next week. Okay. So I don't want you to think like he's putting us off for another month while they figure things out. No, we've already been in the process of figuring things out as far as what we want to do for people to make sure that we can move forward. But the biggest thing is it takes profitability for a company to maintain. It takes sales in order for that to happen. So, the sports wagering side of it, we're going to be able to manage that. We're going to be able to do it. And I'm trying to look here. So, like for the week, I believe that we're like I said, I think we're right around 61% for our handicapper. So we kind of picked up almost where we left off. I believe those numbers will get even better as the other major sports come in and we get adapted to the new sporting environment. So I'm not concerned about that. I'm more concerned about the network marketing side of it to make sure that, hey, we're doing the right thing, that we're communicating properly, and that we can attract the leaders. And, I'll probably be reaching out to some of you over the next week, just kind of giving you some ideas of what's going on, get your feedback on specific things. And, for those who are in, for those of you who, actually care, I'd ask you to be part of that. Right. And give me your feedback. Cause I know it's going to be an uphill battle for some of us, but what I do know is if we can attract the right people and we can make enough noise, we will be the best out there, right? It is a phenomenal project, a phenomenal idea still, in my opinion. So here's what I want to do. I want to open this thing up to some questions. If you can just throw your questions in here, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Okay, let's see here. Okay, so one thing, here's one important thing, okay? We shut the customer support down during this time, just simply because there was no business, right? I mean, not only for the agents, but also for the people, there wasn't really anything going on. So we're going to be opening that back up. I'll send out an email today. Like in the meantime, if you have customer support issues specifically on your account, I'll give you an email that you can reach out to until we get our Zendesk back up. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Joe, I saw your message about your accounts, your 4 accounts. Okay, Joseph. So we'll get those set up. All right, let's see here. Alan just asked the same question. Alan, yeah, we will get an email out about the support. Okay, so we'll start being able to manage those, and then obviously get the support desk back up. Troy, you can't log into the back office. When will you be able to log in? Let me ask a question. You don't have to put a number in or anything, but those of you who are using a video, can you just hold up a number 1 if you can log into your account with no problem? Okay, Troy, it might be a password issue with you. Let me check. I'm not sure. Maybe we're just keeping you out, man. You never know. You're trouble, usually. I'm just kidding. Let's see here. James, will we need to contact anyone in regards to GOWs being paid or auctions being sent out? No. So the way that we're going to do it, Josh, is we will notify people, okay, that it is being sent or that it's coming out. So like the auctions list, believe it or not, is not like that massive. It's really not. I mean, there might be a lot of items, but we'll definitely let people know that those items are coming. I'll be working with Marie and the support team to get those items out and to notify people. Okay. Okay, so here's a question. I'm just going to read it, because you guys know I want to just be transparent. So I'm not going to skip over any questions. So even if you want to throw some negative stuff out here, I'm going to read it. I don't really care. Okay. So Michael, that's all nice. So what are you going to do for the people who funded your first go in the business? Yes, us. Normally early adopters take the licks. Get something like bigger returns, low price, or something for sticking out. Not just a request for more money to get back in to the end of the line. So Michael, I'm not sure who you are, but yeah, as far as your comment, funding the first go around, I mean, if again, I don't know how late you came to the game, but I think anyone who listened to any of what I said, back in the day knows that where these funds went as far as a company is concerned was definitely not to me, right? We paid these out a tremendous amount of Bitcoin to leaders, to those who were earning the income. So it's, I get where that frustration is coming from. I can totally understand what you're saying. But as far as like what we're going to do for people, that was something that I was referring to as far as being able to look at that over the next week and give people an idea of where we're going. But, for anyone who wants to make that, I'm just going to read these comments. So like I said, if you want to throw shade or whatever, I can take it. And I don't even mind reading it in public. Okay. Because I think it's good to kind of get this out. Because some of you will, might want to say that stuff and you just don't have the guts or whatever, or think it's a bad place to do it. So, all right. So here's the next one from Gary. In reference to his username, his cab was showing 1.05 before GCN stopped, and now it's a 0.25%. You're eligible to earn the minimum. So, okay. So Gary, basically, here's what I'm going to tell you. all those accounts will be looked at, will be evaluated. Obviously, with the cab bonus specifically, a cab bonus is built around profitability. So as I said in my emails, the cab bonus will not just automatically be able to start back at 1%. It'll take some time to build it to wherever what we need it to be. So specific to anybody's accounts, as far as like the qualifications and things like that, those are all things that we're talking about over the next week that we'll be announcing, that we'll be putting out, so people have a complete understanding of where we're at, not only from a cab bonus standpoint, but your qualification standpoint as well. Everything's going to be different. When I say different, don't get me wrong. Even though your back office reflects that, just remember that the back offices, the time didn't stop on those. Okay. So the back office doesn't know that there's COVID. The back office doesn't know that, that 30-day requirement or whatever the requirement was to qualify for that higher bonus. It doesn't know if things stopped. Okay. So just keep that in mind, that all that will be evaluated. All right. So good question though. Let's see here. Troy is saying many of his members can't log in. Okay, Troy, I'll reach out to you specifically and see what we can do to get these people in their back office, okay? I don't know what that reason might be, but I think everyone should be able to. When will withdrawals start back for those who requested payouts prior to COVID? So, Corey, as far as withdrawals, you're most likely probably referring to like games of the week. That's where the majority of withdrawals would come from. Those will begin this week, as I said, both auctions and GOWs. I mean, we're going to be splitting those. With whatever funding we have, we're going to be sending those things out starting this week. Okay. So it'll be a few week process, but just know that they are going out. Okay. That people will be getting their payments back if they did a GOW back in the day. That will happen. How soon can we start recruiting again? I like that question, Paul. Here's what I would say. I would say, let us continue to update you over the next week. Obviously I'd like to come on here today and say, start recruiting today. But, I think that, I really would like to speak to like some of the top leaders who have been here, see who's in, see who's out, and make sure that we have a plan that the whole world's going to be able to adopt and move forward, that can not only protect the member, but protect the company as well, and just see how we can operate this thing going forward. So I'll be reaching out to several of you, and over the next week, we'll definitely have this information out there. When can we expect BTC wallet payouts, GOWs, auctions to start? So I think I just answered that. Maybe you asked that right after I answered that, but everything's going to be starting this week. Mike says he's 1,000% in. Thank you, Mike. I really appreciate that. Can the withdrawal limit be reduced? Okay, let me scroll back up there. Okay. Can the withdrawal limit be reduced because we're really struggling to feed our families? Yeah. So that is something that we definitely can look at. I know the withdrawal limit right now is I guess it's 0.1, isn't it? Or 0.01. Yeah, 0.01, I think. Yeah, we can look at that definitely and see what we can do there. So, all right, this one's from Mike. Understand sports are shut down, but the amount of Bitcoin you're managing should still be safe, as our system shut down for 2 months prior to COVID. It seems now that the amount of Bitcoin under your company's management can be used to start back up. As far as the games of the week, that was money in and when was recorded, GCN earn a percentage of the profit. This should easily be payout, and payout is key to showing that you're back from the dead. I doubt anyone will risk any more payouts. Impressed that you've shown back up, and would be more impressed with your payouts. I like that, Mike. So no, you're exactly right, man. I mean, in some aspects, from the Bitcoin standpoint, I mean, as I've been very transparent from the beginning, I mean, we were looking for funding even before COVID got here because of many different things that I'm not going to get into. But the bottom line is what you said is the most important, the last thing. Impressed that I've showed back up. We will be more impressed if we pay out. Yeah, of course. So GOW, same exact thing, man. I mean, those will be paid out along with the auctions over the next few weeks. And that will happen. As far as getting a grip on where we go from here, that's really an important thing. And I appreciate Mike's comments. He's always very direct, which I appreciate that. Look forward to getting GCN back into action. I'll top Mike 101%. I like that, Josh. Thank you. Gossett, thanks for the consistency and the updates Apologies for coming in late. Will the marketing piece be implemented in the future? So, Goss, I mean, we have a ton of marketing stuff in the back office, but there is some new rebranding stuff that we'll be doing. When I say rebranding, let me be specific. We're not changing names or anything like that. We're just improving stuff as far as being able to market. Okay, so keep that in mind. But all those marketing tools and everything that are in the back office, we will definitely be, evaluating those, getting them more up to date. I mean, it's a new year, it's a different time, so new marketing will definitely be required. Let's see here. Being that you're taking the cab in the coming weeks, hold on, let me read this again. Being that my gosh, I do know how to read, I promise. The thing keeps moving. Being that you'll be talking about the cab in the coming weeks, those who paid for the Pro, in my case, paid over $600 in various accounts. Can we get the money back we received, no Pro payments, or will you be making sure that those are paid in fair sums and profitable positions? Yeah, so here's the deal. That was Joseph. Joseph, as far as those Pro payments and things like that, I mean, we're going to make sure that it's done right? So if that means extending it a month or two to make sure that everybody is Pro or whatever it is, we'll make sure to take care of that, right? I mean, we're not going to be trying to take advantage of the people that believed in us. I can assure you that. James Dean, I'm 100% in, James, ready for action. Thank you. Tom, welcome back. I'm all in. Thank you, Tom. I appreciate it. So look, I mean, you guys have me here. If there's any other questions, I'll wait just a second here as we get it going. The thing I get from this, and it goes back to what I've said, and, Marie and I have talked about this many times as well, as far as like, the family environment, the people that were brought into this, definitely it's a great thing. And, the goal is to make sure that we can protect this and move it forward in the right direction while, making sure that we're helping people, not hurting people, if that makes sense. So let's see here. We do have one more. There are tickets. There was tickets sent before the COVID started, tickets about splitting some of the earnings, and those tickets are going to be processed. So truthfully, any old tickets, like if there were tickets that weren't answered, you're going to need to send those back in. Okay. We literally paused the Zendesk. Okay. I mean, we're going to set it back up. But at the same time, those tickets will need to be redone. Now, our staff and things like that, our customer support staff pretty much remains the same. So we'll still be very well taken care of there. Hey, Matthew, yeah, you missed the first 20 minutes. Definitely. I did record this. Okay. So we'll be putting this out. Paul, let's do it. So look, here's the deal. I've kept y'all 30 minutes. The main point of this meeting was just to come out here, address you guys, put my face out there, make sure you understand that we're still 100% here. I'm being truthful that I don't have the complete clarity that I want as far as like totally where we're going in the future. And I know that some of you are like, man, you've had all this time to think about this. How could you not know it? Well, just remember, this is a very fragile situation, right? And every decision we make has to be one that is going to benefit the people and not hurt the company, and make sure that there's a place that we have long term. We already know that the idea works, right? We already know that our handicappers are the best out there. I mean, I don't know about y'all, but I mean, for those of you that follow sports and handicapping, you have to admit, like, what we were able to do was phenomenal, right? And we want to continue that. And we've got every one of the handicappers back ready to rock and roll with us. So there's a lot of great things, but it doesn't fix the networking side of it. That's the part of it that we have to make sure to have complete clarity. So the only thing I would ask you is that if I reach out to you this upcoming week, if you could give me just a few minutes to talk to you about what's going on, I would really appreciate it. For all you that came out, thank you so much. I mean, 64 is a pretty good turnout considering we've been gone for 4 months. I didn't know if there'd only be 3 people out here, but it didn't matter to me, okay? Because, you guys have heard me say this a million times. I'm the guy in the fight that you got to kill, not because I'm bad, just because I don't have that quit bone in me, really. So I want to make this thing happen, right? I want to make it happen for you and your families, and I don't know what it looks like, but I know that we're going to do it. So I really, really appreciate everything. I will be sending out an email today, okay, with the proper support email that you can use until the Zendesk is put back up. And everything else, thank you for the questions. As I said, I rather just read them. So, those of you who ask the tough questions and kind of threw a little jab or two in there, I get it. I really do. And I appreciate it. So I think that's it. I think I'm going to wrap this thing up. Just watch for the emails. Thank you for taking the time to come out. We'll be doing another Zoom call coming up. And like I said, if I reach out to you, if you don't mind, answer my phone call. All right. Take it easy, y'all. I really appreciate it.